Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Agasicles Statements from GearWorks.com and the E2KG Network podcasting channel on YouTube, here with another out-of-the-box episode here on the Rounding Off Infinity Gaming channel on YouTube. Today, we are going to be quickly talking through my initial hardware impressions for the Oculus Rift S, which just launched today, a device that I pre-ordered given Gray the Gamer and I's recent spool up of the brand new VR Game Nights podcast, which we record weekly. So I'm going to apologize a little bit for the Razer Kaio webcam that I'm using. It's doing a lot of hunting and seeking tonight, I think, because I didn't bother to put up additional light. So if I need to re-record this, I will. I think it'll be manageable, but you are going to see the camera focus and refocus probably several times as I'm going through this. So this is the outer covering for the box that it came in. Again, we're not going to do an unboxing. We're going to be doing an out of the box. So you won't have to see me tediously go through pulling all the wrapping off. The box was pretty good. The unpackaging experience. The thing I didn't like in the shipping crate or outer box that the Rift S came in is that it clearly said it was from Facebook on the box, and it also clearly indicated that there was a headset and 2 controllers inside. So had I known that, I may have chosen to have had it shipped to someplace other than my place of residence, but that's a lesson learned. So things that come in the box, let's quickly talk through the headset. This is the headset, and I'm pretty happy with this. At this point, again, prior to this, I have the HTC Vive and the Acer AH101 Windows Mixed Reality headset. In comparison to those 2 headsets, I really like the sturdiness and industrial design and construction of this. Again, I'm a person who tends to like heavier, larger devices that feel solid. So this is a bit weighty. It's fine for me. It may not be to everyone else's like. Recall that this comes with 5 inside-out tracking cameras. So 2 of them are here on the front. It has one on the top here, which I thought was very interesting in the design, and I quite appreciate. And then the 4th and 5th one are at the corners here. I am not a prior Oculus owner, so there may be legacy things that are in place on this device that I'm just not familiar with yet. I will get familiar with them over the next few weeks, but for right now, this is, again, my initial exposure to the device. So it has this, what looks to be maybe a reset button, or I'm hoping what this is a reseat button. Gray and I have talked on the VR Game Nights podcast, and one of the things is that that is frustrating with Windows Mixed Reality is, for instance, particularly in racing games, I tend to lower my seat height about half of the scale of the full length of what the seat height can be set at for my gaming chair when I play racing games, whether it's with wheel or pedals or with a controller. And often when I go into, say, Project Cars to do VR, I forget to lower the seat height before I bring up Windows Mixed Reality. So my seat height is up here. I lower it, and then like in the cockpit of the car, like my eyes are like at the AI or at the driving avatars, like I'm like collar. And there's no easy way to reset the height. My understanding is with the Rift S, you can do that with a click of a button. I'm hoping that's this button right here. If not, it's for something else, and I'll figure out what it is when I start the more formalized review. The headset uses kind of a mixed halo and harness design. The Acer Windows Mixed Reality AH101 uses a halo design where it's this rigid kind of plastic that wraps around the top of your head and sits on your forehead, and then it has a dial to tighten it up, which is similar to this dial in the back here on the Rift S. The HTC Vive uses a harness that sits on top of your head, and that when you pull back on this strap, actually tightens the visor up on your face. I have a preference for the harness design over the Halo. It'll be interesting to see how this feels, that it's using some kind of combination that's somewhere in between the two. It is kitted out with this 5-meter cable, so roughly about 15 feet in length. The connectors are USB 3.0 and DisplayPort. So that's a key thing that I think is being well advertised that people need to remember, is that contrary to the last generation headsets, which used HDMI, these use DisplayPort, which is great because typically with modern GPUs, you only have one HDMI port. With my GPUs, I know, as most people, I have 3 DP ports. So often if I am if where I'm using it is with a PC that is running HDMI to the associated monitor, and I already only have one port, typically I have to swap cables out and use like an adapter, like a DVI to HDMI or a DP to HDMI adapter to release that HDMI port to make it available. So it's actually nice, in my opinion, that these use DisplayPort. I assume that somewhere on here, I've been loath to unbundle the cable from where it's wrapped into this shipping or mini box here for shipping. I assume that there's a 3.5 millimeter jack somewhere along this cable for plugging in audio. Purportedly, this does have positional audio, which Oculus, on the Oculus page, they make a big deal out of that from an advertising perspective, but I kind of would assume that for a VR implementation, you would have positional audio. I would hate to be in a game and not understand that there's a threat, behind me and to my right while I was underneath the visor. So good that it has it, I guess. I don't know that it's anything to really brag about. That, I think, is pretty much it for the headset. Obviously, it has some foam cushion here. To keep it from being uncomfortable on your head. We'll see how that goes. And then padding along the inside of the Halo ring here. The optics on this are, I believe the specs are 1280 by 1440 on the optics inside. But going from the Rift to the Rift S, they did lower the refresh rate. It was 90 hertz on the original Rift. On this, it's only 80. So that's that. One thing that I didn't realize. This was again well reported. I didn't track on it uh, when I made the decision that I was going to pre-order the Rift S, but it is made in partnership with Lenovo, and there's actually Lenovo branding here on the side. Now Lenovo previously did a VR headset for Google, and also obviously did their own for Windows mixed reality. So they have some background, and I guess Facebook/Oculus just decided that they were a good team to partner up with because they could offload some of the hardware engineering that Oculus was concerned about taking on with its level of staffing. And so Lenovo was able to help them out with that. Other features that you get with the Oculus before we run through the rest of the hardware is obviously you get the Oculus Rift library, which is fairly robust at this time. Um, and I think I already mentioned the positional audio. The kit also comes with 2 AA batteries for use with the controllers. This is the setup pamphlet for doing the initial setup. So obviously the big tail of the tape here is that this does not use external sensors, which means it is going to be far less complicated than it was to rig up the Vive. So you've got about a 4-panel instruction booklet here, double-sided, so about 8 panels of instructions. I don't believe setup is going to be that hard. Certainly shouldn't be any worse than the Windows Mixed Reality headset, which is basically the same construction of a headset and 2 controllers. Funnily enough, this is the manual for this is the safety manual, which I'm sure it's this thick because it's written in 12 different languages or whatever. But I just thought it was funny that in this modern day and age that something would come with a safety and warranty manual that's this thick. And when I see that, I'm like, that causes me a little bit of concern about how safe this device is, but I think it'll be fine. I'm very interested to get some playtime with these. These are the Rift controllers. So you have a directional stick inside each, 2 buttons. You then have a trigger button here, and on the inside, you also have a button there. Now, my initial hardware impressions of these are, first of all, I like the Windows mixed reality controllers. Again, I tend to like things that are more substantial and heavy and feel like, home improvement man grunt kind of size, like. So these are light. I won't say dainty, but they are very agile. The good thing is I play VR seated often, and one of the problems is with the Windows mixed reality headsets, which are fairly large. My tendency to bang them into a table or knock into the keyboard is fairly high. It should be less with these. So I do like the compact style of these. I'm kind of out of the box. I initially called these the snub nose controllers for your Star Wars reference there, but they don't extend as far out, obviously, from the handles, and the handles themselves are shorter. I think this is going to be much better for playing seated in a somewhat confined space. One thing that I don't like is that these buttons feel a little overly plastically and not very expensive. They're kind of and very clicky clacky in comparison to what could have been a more elegant um, button design. And then you have the menu buttons. Sure if I can get that for you in camera here, right at the bottom of the controller. But other than that, I do like that they're lightweight and shorter in length, and I expect that the instances of me banging into my computer table or the keyboard will be less. And nice that it only uses each controller only uses one AA battery in comparison to I'm pretty sure my Windows Mixed Reality each use 2 AA batteries, but I'm not absolutely positive. The last thing that it comes with is a full-size DisplayPort to mini DisplayPort adapter. Again, that's for people who are using the headset in combination with laptops. I don't know how many people actually do that. That seems weird that the market demographics obviously must have showed them that would be a value-added thing to have in the box. So I'm glad that they have it, and I hope not too many people are trying to do VR on a laptop. Last thing I wanted to go over is this is the interior box. So that thing that I showed you earlier just goes around this. I actually really like this because one of my problems with VR headsets for both the Windows Mixed Reality one that I have and the Vive is that the boxes aren't really great storage boxes. So for the Windows Mixed Reality one, I actually had to go and buy a separate aftermarket case just because that the box it was in was just completely unwieldy, and I always break my headsets down and put them away when I'm done playing. The studio's not really set up to just set that stuff up and leave it permanently in place. So I do appreciate that this came with a box, so I didn't have to buy an additional case. My Vive headset also sits in its box right now, but it is not a ready to deploy box. Like when I open that thing up, the way things are slotted in there, it's not made for convenience and rapid deployment. This is, and so with the headset laying in there, I'm just going to reach in, grab the controllers, button the box up, and go. It won't be as much unpacking as will be necessary with the Vive headset. So overall, I'm really impressed by this package. I'm very surprised that Oculus was able to get this down to a $399 price point. But as Grant and I talked about, I was like, well, that's exactly why. The whole point of this generation of VR is to make the things more affordable and accessible to less than the highly affluent, who were the only ones, in my opinion, who could really readily afford the VR headsets that came out the first generation, because they generally came out at I think like $750 or $800 in some cases. So it's very nice to see that the price is down roughly 50% at least or more to get into the next generation of headsets. There's nothing that I've seen so far that are any red flags that are going to cause me concerns or issues, particularly with regards to connectivity. I can accommodate the DP port, and as long as I find a 3.5 millimeter jack in here for headphones, then we will be okay. The controllers, again, while maybe not as feeling rugged and weighty as the Windows Mixed Reality ones, are more agile and more suited to definitely to kind of close quarters VR gaming. So that's going to do it for me. Once again, my name has been Agasically Stamus from HearWorks.com and the E2KG Network podcasting channel on YouTube, as well as the Rounding Off Infinity gaming channel on YouTube. Please feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're interested in this type of content. I do frequently do hardware reviews for gaming peripherals and studio equipment that can be helped for live stream setups. But other than that, if you have questions that come up, please feel free to reach out and contact me via YouTube. I think that's going to do it for me. Until next time, happy hunting, stay safe out there, play the games that you like and stream the games that you love. My name has been Agasically Stamus. Good night, good luck, good gaming, good VR. Gray and I will be on tomorrow night recording the VR Game Nights episode number 3, I believe. So feel free to join in on that. That is on the YouTube channel, The Gamers Show. So if you have any questions, hit me up. That's going to do it for me. I'm out of here.